From the Bill Fralick Athletics Center at UHAS McGinley Stadium at Penn Hills High School, this is the Coach's Corner. Along with the head coach of the Penn Hills Indians, Neil Gordon, I'm Bill Navari. The Coach's Corner is brought to you by Magisterial District Judge Lenny Romiak. Neil, the playoff pairings came out Monday night. You get a home game as being number 2, but certainly the WPIAL didn't smile upon you. You got a number 4 team in a conference, but yet they're a team that really could go deep in the playoffs, that being Canon MacMillan.
Yeah, when you figure it out on paper, as we always try to do, the brackets and so forth, we were kind of convinced that it was going to be one of the 3 threes. We couldn't play Woodland Hills again, which was Bethel Park, whom we already played, or Shaler or Penn Trafford. So we kind of eliminated Bethel Park as a rematch type game, and we're pretty convinced it was going to be either Shaler or Penn Trafford. When the brackets came out, and knowing how good Canon Mac is, even though they're a number 4, we kind of thought that their logic was that the number 1s, because of their success during the season, should have an easy game the first round, at least on paper anyway. And I think that they sat there and thought that Gateway matching up with a 4 Canon Mac was a little bit tough on Gateway, so they switched us in Gateway, I think, and gave us the 4 and Gateway the 3, Penn Trafford. So, we're stuck with a number 4, but a very, very good number 4. Somebody that stumbled a couple times during the season and gave themselves a low seed, but a very, very good football team right now.
The kids kind of lifted their game last week in support of Dante Brown and the quarterback for the injured Tommy Fulton. And they played very well against Woodland Hills. If earlier this season I'd said to you that, Neil, you're going to have a home game in the playoffs, you probably would have been a little surprised by that.
Yeah, I really would. We had hoped with the youth and experience of our team to get better each week and qualify for the playoffs, and then see how far we came with the young kids. Our progress with these kids has been greatly hampered, I think, by a lot of the injuries that we've had, especially on the offensive line. We lost Taylor Adams for probably half the season. Even when he played, he was gimped up pretty bad with an ankle that just won't go away. We lost Corey Kircher, the only one with any kind of experience on that offensive line. Bernhardy had a bad back for a while. We've been bouncing back and forth. We've had to use Barry Morrison on both sides of the ball, and he's done a yeoman's job. But, we just couldn't keep that offensive line intact day in and day out to be able to practice and work the way we wanted to. But, so be it. We are in the playoffs, and we did secure a home field advantage, which is always nice to be at home, especially when your opponent lives in the other side of the world.
Well, we've traveled to there before.
And I know very well we've traveled to there. But it's nice to be home, and it's nice to get that number 2 seed. It's a tough number 4 that we have to play, but, if we've progressed, right now, the way I look at it, we have to play our best football games this week against Canon Mac, get past that one. Then we obviously would have to play a great game against the probably North Allegheny next week. And who's left down the road? Central Catholic, Gateway, McKeesport. There's nothing left but good teams now. So it's not how good the team is that we're playing. It's just how good a game we can put together.
Credit to kids. They did what they needed to do. They went 4-1 in the conference. They won the games they needed to win to get the runner-up position behind Gateway Gators, who we knew coming into this year was going to be loaded.
Yeah.
But having that number 2 seed and looking to say, gee, we're playing a number 4 seed, how is it for you and the coaching staff to try to not let these kids fall into this false sense of superiority to think that they're just going to walk through this game? I mean, you're looking at the number 1 rusher in Quad A, the team that's coming in here that was 4th in their conference. I mean, there's a deja vu all over again from a couple years ago with the team not far down the road from Canon MacMillan whenever you guys hosted Trinity a couple years ago.
Yeah, it's exact same scenario. 2 high schools in Washington, PA, Canon Mac and Trinity. 2 leading rushers in the Wpial, us hosting a lower seed. Yeah, the scenarios are exactly the same. But I don't think it took our kids too long on Tuesday looking at film to realize that this wasn't a number 4 seed that we were going to walk through. If we don't play well, it's not because we took them lightly. Our kids are more than aware of the talents and the capabilities of this Canon Mac football team. It's very obvious, and there is no false sense of security.
Last week, we talked about the health condition of the team. Behind the scenes, we knew going in that Tommy Fulton wasn't going to play, but obviously you want to keep that facade up. This week, I talked with Tommy. He says that he's got the doctor's okay, he's good to go, and that he is going to be playing. Now, that's got to be a big lift for you guys.
Well, yeah, it sure is. It opens the game plan up a little bit more. Dante did a fantastic job, and I can't speak enough to the credit he deserves. But the game plan was quite limited. The audibles were quite limited and so forth. Tommy opens that package. Now, certainly Dante brings to the table a lot of option and quarterback sweep stuff that maybe Tommy doesn't, but Tommy brings a better, a 2-year knowledge of the game plan and the ability to audibilize if he sees something we don't like and so forth. Plus, we can get Dante back at the split end spot, too, if we so desire to do that, and at free safety. And put Tommy back at punter and Blakeman back at the up back. And there's a lot of things that can transpire here now that Tommy's back. So, Tommy will be our quarterback at least some of the time. And we're going to present to them 2 packages in a short week of preparation and hope that we can play with them a little bit.
As a head coach, it really had to give you a sense of pride and satisfaction last week watching the inexperienced Dante Brown out there at quarterback, although he has played some backup roles as well. But yet to see the team lift their game around him and play the way they did, and the defense to play the way they did to keep Woodland Hills off the scoreboard to secure the victory, it really had to be satisfying for you.
Yeah, to name just a few, but how about Chris Darby, Teddy Blakeman, maybe a less-known factor, Tom Pryor, the blocking he did when we were trying to ram it there a little bit, along with the work of Dante and the rest of the people. I thought Aaron Donald had a good game, and
you could almost list everybody.
Yeah, we played pretty well. We didn't make a lot of mistakes, and never had a doubt in Dante's abilities. The kid doesn't say 2 words, and you see him walking around here and there. But then when you start to think, can he handle it, and you start to realize that he's over a 3.0, he's one of the better students in the high school up there, and he just quietly goes about absorbing what he needs to absorb, and he really stepped in and made it a rather easy transition last week. And he didn't turn the ball over. He didn't make stupid mistakes. He never fumbled a snap from center. He just played a great football game for a kid that had 2.5 days, 3 days of practice.
Does that help in preparation-wise for you to say to these kids that type of team game that was played last week at the Wolf Arena is the same type of game that needs to be played week in and week out through the playoffs? And looking back to last year, that type of team effort that got you to Heinz Field.
Yeah, I think so. I think hearing it from my mouth sometimes doesn't mean a lot. Going through it and realizing it means a lot more. So, excuse me, I think our shutout performances the last 2 weeks have given us confidence. And the fact that we were able to overcome Tommy not being there, albeit Dante is very talented, I think that mentally they're ready. This team may outman us, could very well outman us up and down the board, but I don't think that the mental problems are going to be an issue this week.
Whenever you start the season, whenever you do the matchups with the non-conference games, you always like to play the most difficult opponents you can to get the team going and get them ready to play. Obviously, the Wpial has given you a very difficult opponent in round 1. Trying to compare the symmetry between the two, which maybe not be a fair comment, but if you're able to get past Canon MacMillan in round 1, does that actually help you into round 2 beating a better opponent?
Absolutely. Hey, bring them on. You might as well play them now. And I think that for us to play, any of these playoff teams, who's the worst seed? I don't know who it could possibly be. Probably Plum with their record, but Plum can hurt you too sometimes too. But, pick one of the worst teams that would put us a much more heavily favored team. You don't need that. You need to play them all now. For us to come out and play a near-perfect game against Canon Mac, a very talented Canon Mac team, and beat them would do wonders for our psyche for North Allegheny, whoever, the next week. So, yeah, this is a big test. This is a game that could mean 2 games.
So you mentioned Plum Mustangs. It's funny. I've been mentioning a lot of people about them as well. That just to veer off of the Penn Hills thing for a little bit, the Plum Mustangs are a team that made it into the playoffs. They haven't. They won their final conference game. They didn't lose a game by more than 7 points. I think by 11 to Kiski one week. Would that be the type of team that if you had a round one matchup with them that would really scare the heck out of you?
Well, I think so. The only problem is that they're playing the number one seeds, and the number one seeds this year are really good.
I don't think I've ever seen it this heavy at the top.
Yeah, I think it's really top heavy. You know, you have the four heavy hitters there, and it's really hard to see a weakness there, and it's really hard to predict who's better of those four. And Plum has to play one of them. I'm not who's Plum. Central Catholic, I believe. Yeah, Central Catholic. You know, the only chance that I would say that Plum would have against Central Catholic would be the fact that Central has played a relatively weak schedule for the last 5 or 6 weeks. Number one. And number two, maybe Central would take Plum for granted because of their record and so forth. But I think Taunton does a great job coaching those kids, and those kids are hungry to get into the playoffs that they've been waiting for the last 9 weeks. So I don't see that being a problem either. I think they're going to realize the abilities of Simmons out there and some of the things that can happen, and handle them pretty well, I think. Unfortunately, I think the world of Bill Romito and that crew out there, but if you're a number 16 playing a number 1, that's a tough road to hoe.
Would be a heck of a story on Saturday, but the better one I would look forward to is that Penn Hills will be moving on, and best of luck to you Friday night.
Yeah, thank you, Billy. That would be fantastic for us. 2
more seniors to get through this year, and you brought them, have them both tonight. Let's talk about them.
Yeah, 2 kids that I kind of saved. I don't want to say the best for last because I've spoken highly and think highly of all of them. But John White and Ryan Erickson have been with the program for 3 years, and let's talk about John White for a little bit. John's been injured all year, and he has just fought through it. I don't know if he's ever missed a practice unless we physically pulled him off the field. But, pound for pound, I'd be willing to stick my neck out and say that John White is the toughest kid on his football team, has the best attitude on his football team, and is just a true leader of this football team. Whether he's playing on the special teams, and he plays on just about all of them, or he's playing on a scout team, or he's playing on our A offense or A defense, John has done a yeoman's job, and he's just a great kid. I've known John for probably the last 10, 12, 14 years or so, and I couldn't wait till he came up because I loved the kid back then and his toughness, and he hasn't disappointed me. He's a great kid, a great program kid, and some other kids on his team could learn a lot from John as far as toughness is concerned. He doesn't take much from anybody. Ryan Erickson, kind of the same thing. John might be a little tougher. Ryan's got a little bit more of a body, but he has been on our special teams. He has been our tight end for a while. The last 3 or 4 games, he's stepped in and played tight end and done a very good job, and continues to do a good job for us. John plays more on the defensive side of the ball with the special teams. Ryan more on the offensive side of the ball with the special teams. But 2 kids that I am sorely going to miss next year. And, if we're going to finish out our discussions with seniors, we couldn't finish it out with 2 better ones than these 2.
It's got to be tough as a head coach year in and year out. You fall in love with kids, so you have them for, over a period of years, and then next thing you know, they're moving on, and there's nothing you can do about it.
Yeah, that's the tough thing about your season ends, but you're always coming back, and all those juniors and sophomores, and we have a ton of them. They're all coming back. It's the seniors that you feel so bad for when you do end that season, and these are two examples right here. I just don't want a tear to be shed by John White or Ryan Erickson, and they deserve to be able to walk around with their chest high that they played for Penn Hills and so forth. And we kind of want to get this one for these kind of kids. Ryan Erickson, I've talked to people, whether it be at Noah's school or Thomas's school or out shopping or something like that, and they say, "Oh, you got Ryan Erickson on your team. What a great kid. He helped my son do this and that, and he's the best kid in the world, and he's the best employee. What a great kid, and this and that." And I mean, this whole township knows Ryan Erickson, and his personality and so forth. So, I don't think we want to wish them the best in the future because they're ticketed to go wherever they want to go. I think we better wish me the best in the future to try to replace those 2 holes that these 2 kids are leaving for us.
Well, if it makes you feel any better, last week in the locker room after the game, Dan Mason said one of the favorite lines I've heard all year, which made me feel real good. And he says, "Yeah, I'm just a junior."
Yeah. He's just a junior. He was interviewed by FSN the other day, and when I called him out to be interviewed, he said, "I hope they're not going to make me spell anything." And I said, "No, Dan, they're not going to make you spell anything."
Spell
He's
FSN.
only a junior, so he'll get his spelling in his senior year.
Well, that's always is a comforting thought. But obviously, we'd always miss these kids, and we would look forward to talking to our final 2 of the year. And hopefully, we get to talk with you again next week.
Yeah, that would be great, Billy, and you'll really enjoy these 2, as I have.
Okay. Thanks, Coach. Coming up next, our Seniors of the Week as the Coach's Corner continues here on Comcast. Our Seniors of the Week, John Wyke and Ryan Erickson of the 2007 Penn Hills Indians. John, Coach waited till the end of the year to bring you guys out here. He says he wanted to save the best for last. Certainly that's got to be a compliment to you guys, knowing that he was talking about how he's really going to miss you. You want to talk about what you're going to miss about Penn Hills football?
I'm going to miss the most probably the practices, all the friends I've made from the teams. And Thursday night, just besides Friday, is the most fun of all the practices and games.
You want to talk about your role with the team. What is your favorite aspect of the things you get to do when you go in there?
My favorite is just going and hitting someone. I just love the contact. That's about it.
Big playoff game tomorrow night. Canon MacMillan, a lot of folks surprised by the matchup. Kind of reminiscent of whenever they sent Trinity up here with the #1 rusher in the league and a very good football team. Is the team ready to play Canon MacMillan, not looking past them in any way, that they're focused on this week and this week only?
I believe we're focused. I really don't compare. That's 2 years ago. I don't look at it that way. But I believe we had a good week of practice.
Last week, everybody rallied around Dante Brown, a team effort at Woodland Hills. Obviously, you guys know from last year the experience on your way down to Heinz Field. It has to be a team effort week in and week out. You as seniors, is that the kind of thing that you're trying to make sure that the juniors and sophomores don't forget about?
Yeah, we let them know when they're fooling around or too much a little bit, and we just take control of the team as much as we can.
Ryan, a lot of teams sometimes don't never get a chance to get to the playoffs. Here it is. You guys get to go. You guys have gone every year. Kind of old hat for you guys, so to speak. But certainly not something that you want to look past.
No, not at all. I mean, it's great being able to be in the playoffs and being in a winning tradition. And just being Penn Hills. Penn Hills is a special program, somewhere we've came from a long time.
What has the practice been like this week? Obviously, you have another one to go here tonight, but how has practice been as far as focus-wise and what the coaches are working on with you?
We've just been working hard. They've been making sure we're not looking past them. They're a good team. I mean, they're nobody to slack off with, but we've had a real good week of practice, so I look forward to the game Friday.
You want to talk about your role with the team, the things that you like to do when you're out there, and what's your favorite part of playing for the Indians?
I love playing tight end. It's just, there's nothing wrong with blocking somebody. I got no problem with that. And, it's more satisfying than a pancake block to me. So that's what I enjoy the most, probably.
What do you think you're going to miss the most whenever the season ends and you move on?
Probably a lot of the relationships and a lot of the friends we formed. We just had a lot of good times over the years, and it's definitely a lot of dedication, a lot of hard work. So I'll miss a lot of that.
What can we expect from Ryan Erickson after you graduate from Penn Hills? What are your plans for the future?
I'm looking forward to going to college. I'm going to major in engineering, but I'm not exactly sure where yet.
Which kind of engineering do you want to major in?
Taking it down to civil or mechanical, probably. So, just debating between two right now.
Okay, so you're not quite sure what you want to be when you grow up? Is that what you're saying?
Taking it down to two things, so we're good from there.
Okay. John, what can we expect from you after you graduate? What are your plans?
I don't know. I'm going to college, I know that, but probably accounting is what I'm looking for right now.
Okay. Best of luck to you guys. You'll be happy to know that as much as I tried, your parents would not dish out any dirt on you that I could throw on you here at the interview, so you guys can relax a little bit. But best of luck to you. Obviously, Friday night against Canon MacMillan, and hopefully your senior season can last much longer, and through November and into December. Our seniors of the week, John Wyke and Ryan Erickson of the 2007 Penn Hills Indians. Coming up next is round one of the Wpial playoffs. Canon MacMillan comes to town to take on our Penn Hills Indians, and it's coming your way next here on Comcast. Are we rolling? From UHOS McGinley Stadium in Penn Hills tonight, round one of the WPIAL playoffs. A very pleasant good evening to you. I'm Bill Navari. Tonight, the Big Macs from Canon MacMillan High School in Canonsburg, Pennsylvania, come into Penn Hills to take on the Penn Hills Indians, the runners-up in the 2007 Big East Conference. Canon MacMillan comes into tonight's game with an overall record of 4-5, 2-3. They were the fourth place finalist in the Great Southern Conference. Canon MacMillan, a team that likes to run the ball. They run a wing T. They have the WPIAL's leading rusher in Quad A this season, a sophomore, the 6'1", 208-pound Michael Hall. Look for him to be carrying the workload tonight for Canon MacMillan. Canon Mac, a team that you wonder which team's going to show up on any given night. They started off beating Trinity, then went out to Davis Field in Kiski and lost to the Cavaliers. Beat up Latrobe heavily, then lost three straight to Shaler, Bethel Park, and Upper St. Clair. Then took care of Mount Lebanon and Baldwin, and then almost knocked off the McKeesport Tigers last week. The Tigers scoring late in that contest to pull out a 30-28 win, and the Canon MacMillan Big Macs earned a trip here to take on the Penn Hills Indians. The Indians in the gold helmets, red jerseys, gold pants, moving left to right. Canon MacMillan, who will be getting the ball first, in the blue helmets with the yellow trim, the white jerseys, the blue pants, and the gold socks. Beautiful night for football here in western Pennsylvania, November the 2nd. Chilly. That's what you expect this time of year. Michael Ennis and Jervin Matthews back for the Canon MacMillan. And Mike Farraco will be teeing it up at the 40-yard line, getting the go-ahead from the officials. And we are about to get underway. Farraco's kick. We'll get it down inside the 15 at the 13-yard line, taken by Matthews. And Matthews gets across the 35 out to the 36-yard line. Canon MacMillan will start off 1st and 10 right there. Zane Zabrowski, the quarterback of Canon MacMillan. As I said, they run the wing T. Keep your eye on number 49, Michael Hall. It'll be Hall, left side. He'll have a first down for Canon MacMillan down to the Penn Hills 46-yard line. And that's what you'll see from Canon MacMillan. Ball placed at the 45-yard line. 19 yards and a first down for Hall on the first play of the game. So Canon Mac runs with no tight end. You'll see twin slots. John Billy to the right. He'll come in motion to the near side. And it'll be Hall left side. It'll be stacked up by Stephon Thompson after a pickup of 2. And it'll be 2nd down and 8. Indian defensive line, you got Barry Morrison, Aaron Donald, Doug Smith, Kenny Braswell. Officials timeout, check some equipment on Canon Mac's side. Dante Brown playing deep center field for the Indians. Chris Perry, Stephon Thompson. Dan Mason, your linebacker, some movement on the right side. Canon MacMillan's line, it'll cost him 5 yards. So Teddy Blakeman, DJ Wilds. You mentioned Dante Brown, and also out on the defense, Devon Taylor. And that should cover the Indians' starting defense. So it'll be 2nd down and 13 now for Canon MacMillan. 10:44 on a running clock to go here. Opening period, we are scoreless. Penn Hills and Canon Mac. Brandon Schroeder splits out to the right. Again, Billy and Matthews. And it'll be Matthews in motion. It'll be Hall right side, trying to find somewhere to go. And Dan Mason will wrap him up after a pickup of a couple. Call it 4 yards for Hall. Danny Mason does a nice job to wrap him up and bring him down after he busts off to the right side. Again, Michael Hall is big, 6'1", 208. Went up against Mason, who's 6'2", 223. So Mason with a little bit of size. And Canon Mac looking at a 3rd and 9. Billy comes in motion, and it'll be a toss this way. Indians trying to string it out, and they do. Billy will go down at the 41-yard line. Teddy Blakeman comes up to make a nice tackle there after a pickup of 3. But Canon MacMillan will be looking at a 4th and about 6. So Canon Mac sets up as if they are going to punt. Zane Zabrowski, the quarterback, does kick. Dante Brown will watch it go over his head. Excuse me, it's Chris Darby will watch it go over his head into the end zone. And the Indians will start over there. 9:02 to go, first period. Scoreless, Penn Hills, Canon MacMillan. The Indians now with their shot with the football. When we come back, you're watching Indians football here on Comcast. Yeah, that's what it is. I formation behind Tommy Fulton, back in action after missing last week at Woodland Hills. Indians start off on the ground. Blakeman tries to find a lane. He gets it up across the 30, the 35, the 40. Blakeman up the sideline, 40. Running out of gas, gets pushed out of sideline. At about the 40-yard line. They're going to mark him at the 48. 32-yard run for Blakeman for number 32. I don't know what happened. Blakeman looked like he ran out of gas at the end of that one, or he pulled up a little bit, or is after he ran out of bounds. But Blakeman does a nice job to pick up the 32 yards, and the Indians move the ball quickly into Canon MacMillan territory. Twins coming near side, Brown and Wilds. Brandon Eiffel at the top of your screen. I formation behind Fulton. Blakeman again. No, excuse me, it's Chris Darby. Darby behind the blocking of Tommy Pryor. Indians keeping on the ground. Darby again, close to the 40-yard line. I'll mark him right there. Another 4 yards for Chris. And the Indians looking at a 3rd and 2. Each team with 1 first down here in the early going. Clock running, approaching 8 minutes to go, opening period. Indians their first possession. Darby again will have the first down at the 46-yard line. Excuse me, 36-yard line, another 4 yards. Wilds, wide receiver screen, gets across to 35, stays in bounds, keeps the clock running. And they'll mark him at the the 34-yard line. 2 yards for number 2. Number 2. 2 yards for DJ Wilds on the reception. Blakeman back in. Blakeman with another dandy run across the 30, down to the 27-yard line. 7 yards for Blakeman. And the Indians looking at a 3rd and very short if they don't. They do have the first down. 8 yards for Teddy Blakeman. And the Indians move the sticks again. Indians not letting Canon Mac change up. Indians keeping Big Jeff Bush, number 79 on the sideline for Canon MacMillan. Bush, the 6'5", 330-pound senior. A mountain of a man. Blakeman into the pile. 3 yards. So he didn't move the chains on that last one. Mason and Pryor in front of Blakeman. Fulton's going to throw, has the pass completed near side. Brandon Eiffel at the 22. And the Indians looking at a 3rd and 5. And who made the tackle on the play walks off the field in his own power. Blakeman in the power eye gets inside the 20-yard line. Gets down to the 18-yard line, a gain of 4. And the Indians, they didn't move the yard marker on the far side of the field. Yes, they did. 3rd and 4. Fulton throwing towards the end zone, and Dante Brown unable to hold on to it. And the Indians looking at a 4th and 4. Tommy Fulton put it right where only Dante Brown could catch it, and Brown unable to hold on to it. Falls incomplete. And the Indians looking at a 4th and 4. This drive began back at their own 20-yard line. This will be the 11th play of the drive. And the Indians man in the yellow hat still on. Indians line up for their 4th quarter play. We are at TV timeout on Fox Sports. See the man in the orange vest now coming off the field. It's duck season. 4th and 4 Indians. Blakeman left side gets hit. Trying to run to the outside, does. Gets inside the 10. It'll be 1st and goal. Indians close to the 5-yard line. 13 yards on a 4th and 4. And it'll be 1st and goal. Indians at the 5. That's 13 yards for Teddy Blakeman. And a Penn Hills 1st down. Power eye behind Fulton again. And Canon MacMillan looks like they jumped offside. We have to check the call. So that'll be half the distance to the goal. That'll be a official score. What size penalty is that? We'll mark off 2 yards to the 3-ish, closer to the 2. So it's about the point where you spot where you try an extra point. Fulton will throw. Looks right side. Brown unable to hold on to it. In the end zone, it'll be 2nd down and goal from the 2.5-yard line. Fulton throws bullets.
That's what I wanted to see. Were my eyes deceiving me, or did John Billy just make a great play here? You can see where Dante Brown gets in position, and it just gets through it. Hard to say. It's hard to say. We'll give him the pick. Right here, you see John Billy lined up.
Blakeman, does he get into the end zone? Yes, he does. Touchdown, Penn Hills, Teddy Blakeman. The 3-yard run. And the Indians get on the board first.
You're going to get a look now at Teddy Blakeman taking the big and just heading over, getting 6. That's the way to get 6 the hard way.
13 plays, 80 yards. Indians just under 5 minutes. Mike Faracco will try the point after. Fracco's kick. Indians go for two, and they get it. Fulton was in with the hold, and he tosses it over to Blakeman. That was designed all the way. Usually that's Willie Moore in there with the hold. This time Tommy Fulton snuck in there, and they went for the pass. They made it. Caught Canon Mac sleeping, and the Indians up 8-0. It did go on to score, but of course, going for two on that, not quite like faking a punt at your own 10-yard line. And the Indians go up 8-0 with 5:07 to go. 4-minute, 55-second drive for the Indians. 13 plays, 9 run, 4 pass. Fracco squibs it. And phone on by Brandon Schroeder. And Canon Mac will take over at their own, looks like 24-yard line. Billy, motion near side. And it's going to be an inside handoff, and the Indians were standing there waiting for Jerevin Matthews. Barry Morrison with the tackle for the Indians. And they're going to be lost back at the 19-yard line, a loss of 5. And it'll be second down and 15. Again, Canon MacMillan, they run the wing T. Zaraski's going to throw, looking downfield, throws underneath, has a man, and a pass incomplete. John Billy, the intended receiver, he was open in his zone there, but the pass unable to connect, and it'll bring up a 3rd and 15 for Canon MacMillan. Clock will stop with 4:20 to go here in the first quarter. It's Penn Hills 8, Canon MacMillan nothing. Raski's going to throw, rolls near side, looks back to his right, throws underneath, pass complete, on a beauty of a catch. Michael Hall will have the first down at the 38-yard line. Wow. Pass just got over Brandon Eiffel. And it'll be a first down at the 38-yard line, 19-yard pickup. Eiffel will be credited with the tackle, but what a catch. Matthews goes right side, and the Indians pursue. Ball is on the field, and who has it? The Indians do. Eiffel up the sideline. Eiffel still on his feet. And they'll say he went out of bounds back at the 27-yard line. Eiffel with a nice return on it. The Indians will have it at the 27-yard line with 3:41 to go. First turnover of the game. And the Indians get the break. And now the Indians, great field position. They're going to officially mark them at the 26-yard line. See if the Indians go for the end zone here on the first play. Mason comes in motion near side. Look him on a waggle. Here comes Teddy Blakeman. Toss right. Trying to find somewhere to go. The only place he gets is to the 26. Give him a pickup of 1. It'll be second down and 9. Blakeman doing a nice job just to pick up the yard. Had a sea of white in front of him. Pryor and Mason will move up into the slot. Blakeman alone setback. Fulton will throw. Looking down the field towards Eiffel. And a pass batted away. Jervin Matthews with a nice defensive play, and the Indians looking at a 3rd and 9. Clock will stop at 2:56. Indians at the 26-yard line of Canon MacMillan following the fumble recovery by Brandon Eiffel. And I'm sure 2-down territory for the Indians.
Third down 9.
Blakeman trying to find somewhere to go. Sees a lot of Canon Mac in front of him, and he'll be wrapped up by Jervin Matthews back at the 30-yard line. Be a loss of 4. And the Indians looking at a 4th and 13 at the 30. It'll be a 47-yard field goal. I don't see the Indians trying that. And you punt from this point, goes into the end zone, you give up 10 yards. So the Indians looking to just go for it. They need to get inside the 16-yard line, or 17-yard line of Canon MacMillan, who would like to take advantage of the opportunity Canon Mac gave him with the turnover. Blakeman runs it down to the 25-yard line. Give Blakeman 5 yards. Where are they going to mark him? The 26. Give him 4. And the Indians turn it over on downs. Give Canon Mac the ball back with 2:07 to go. At their own 26-yard line, almost at the spot where they began the drive that ended in the turnover. Billy will come in motion. It'll be Hall. Big back, straight up the gut, and the Indians gang tackle him at the 30-yard line. And that's 4 yards. Again, Michael Hall, the leading rusher in Quad A this season. You want to compliment Jim Render of Upper St. Clair, said that's the best sophomore he's ever seen. I would take that compliment. Again, a 10th grader, he's 6'1". May add another inch or two. Hall follows the blocks, gets wrapped up. Brought down by Doug Smith. But he'll get out to the 35-yard line. Will gain 5. It'll be 3rd and a yard for Canon MacMillan. Clock running, 1:10 to go here, opening period. The Indians up by 8. Oh, we'll have the first down. Aaron Donald with the tackle. Needed 1, got 2, and it's a fresh set of downs for Canon MacMillan. Michael Hall, opportunity to break the single-season rushing record set 41 years ago in the WPIAL. He's going to throw, and a pass batted at the line of scrimmage. Looked like Chris Perry got his hand up on it. Tipped it just enough for the pass to go incomplete. And it'll bring up a 2nd down for Canon MacMillan. The clock will stop with 12 seconds to go here in the opening period.
Watch this fake in the Hall. Right now, watch the linebackers all jump up. That gives you that lane out to John Billy, but you got to be able to get it in there. And one of the big hard guys on the defensive line got their hands up there and knocked the ball loose. Saves what could have been a big play for the Big Macs. Brasky brings his team to the line of scrimmage. He's checking off here at the line of scrimmage.
Brasky under center. Billy in motion near side, and it's going to be underneath. No, it's going to be a quarterback keeper this way. Zabrowski across the 40. Gets out of bounds, close to a first down. In fact, they'll mark him at the 45. He'll be just short, picks up 8. And it'll be 3rd down and 2. So I'm sure we're going to see Big Michael Hall on the next play, no doubt about it. But that's the thing about the wing T. Fake this way, fake that way, and boy, Zabrowski goes with the football. Hall gets up the middle, breaks right side. It's in a foot race, and Hall will have a first down inside the 30-yard line of the Indians down at the 28. That's what happens on 3rd and short. 27 yards and a first down for Canon MacMillan on the final play of quarter number 1. After one period of play, it's Penn Hills 8, Canon MacMillan nothing. We'll be back for second quarter action. Canon MacMillan on the move. You're watching Indians football on Comcast. Second quarter action about to get underway here at McGinley Stadium. Score Penn Hills 8, Canon MacMillan nothing, but the Big Macs on the move at the Penn Hills 28-yard line. Billy going left side, tries to find somewhere to go, picks up a couple. Give him 2 to the 26-yard line, and it'll be 2nd down and 8. Indians need to play the disciplined defense. Zabrowski under center. Matthews comes in motion near side. Zabrowski's going to come this way. Looks, hit in the backfield, goes down at the 35. Barry Morrison fought off a blocker, got the ball out, and sacks Zabrowski at the 35, a loss of 9 on the play. And Canon MacMillan looking at a 3rd and long. Barry Morrison just would not quit on the play. He fought off the block of Big Michael Hall, the running back. Got the ball in to get the foot, and down he went. Canon Mac looking at a 3rd and 17. 2-down territory for Big Mac. Zabrowski's going to throw. Look, he's trying to set up the screen. There it is. Matthews, left side, trying to find somewhere to go. And the Indians, Dan Mason, will drop him at the 28-yard line. DJ Wilds with the tackle at the 29. Pickup of 6. And it'll be 4th and 11. You can see the way they had that screen set up quite slowly. Indians drop back into defense and held them for a pickup of 6. Now it's 4th and 11. Zabrowski option, comes near side. Matthews has a lane across the 25, but does not get to the 20-yard line as he's ridden out of bounds by Dante Brown at the 21. Picks up about 10. And the Indians defense holds. Canon MacMac turns it over on downs. The Indians have it with 9:25 to go in the half. Ball at the 22-yard line. Now the Indians offense, which scored on its opening possession, then turned the ball over on downs in 4 plays, following a Canon MacMillan fumble. Fulton, wide receiver screen, gets it out to the right side. Brandon Eiffel breaks a tackle, dives ahead out across the 25 to the 26-yard line. 4 yards for Brandon. It'll be second down and about 6. Indians wanting to run the football, but doing what they need to do to hit the quick little passes to try to spread the Canon Mac defense, open things up. Teddy Blakeman with a nice night so far. Already 9 carries here in the first half. Touchdown and a 2-point conversion on the reception. It's Pryor in motion. And now we go to Kadeem Williams. Oh, no gain on the play, and it'll be third and 6.
Third down, 6.
The senior who made the stop there defensively for Canon Mac, so now 3rd and 6 for Penn Hills. They come out high formation. Man in motion across the
And around. Darby trying to find somewhere to go. Cuts it up. Brought down from behind at the 33-yard line. 7 yards. It looks like he'll have enough for the first down. He really read the hole when it opened up, and he cut it up inside. And Darby gets just enough for an Indian first down. 7 yards for Chris Darby. Indians move the sticks at the 37-yard line. Excuse me, 32-yard line. Fulton straight drop. Play action. Sells it nicely, throws downfield, and the pass too high for Dante Brown. And the Indians will look at a second down and 10. Tommy Fulton really sells that play action and rifled one out to Dante Brown just a bit too high. So the clock will stop with 7:41 to go in the half. The Indians still up 8-0. Brown in motion, toss back this way. Kadeem Williams does not fool anybody. No gain, 2 carries for no yards. Kadeem Williams here in this drive. And the Indians looking at a 3rd and 10. I formation behind Tommy Fulton. Keep it on the ground. Teddy Blakeman back into action. Blakeman across the 40-yard line. It'll be just short of the first down. Needed 10, got 9. And it'll be interesting to see what the Indians do. Remember that little chat we had about the fake punt? I wonder if the same type of situation would dictate the same type of thought. Fulton will come in and do the kicking. Canon MacMillan's expecting a punt, and the Indians will line up to go for it on 4th down, and Canon MacMillan will call timeout. 6:12 to go here, first half. Indians up by 8. You're watching Penn Hills football on Comcast. So the Indians will line up to go for it on 4th and a yard. Power eye behind Fulton. Indians will indeed go for it. Blakeman looks like he'll have the first down, and he dives. Give Teddy Blakeman 2 yards and a first down.
Along with John Moyer, a bunch of Canon Mac guys, and I think they stopped Teddy Blakeman.
They're saying now he got it by about the length of the football.
Blakeman carries.
So Penn Hills will lead the chains.
Well, my Mac was never good. Now you can see right here, Blakeman coming off.
Blakeman, they gave him the forward progress. Got what he needed. Delay, play action. Fulton looking downfield, has a man behind the defense. Eiffel, and Eiffel has it inside the 30-yard line at the 27. What a catch by Brandon Eiffel. 34 yards and another first down for the Indians. Fulton sells the play action once again, and Brandon Eiffel downfield, laid out, caught the football, and a beautiful reception by Brandon Eiffel, and the Indians move the sticks back to back. So the Indians go for it on 4th down. They make it, and now they are inside the Canon Mac 30-yard line. Wide receiver screen, Dante Brown. Shake and bake. Does not shake, gets cooked. But Dante Brown picked up a few down inside the 25 to the 24. Told a pickup of about 4 yards. It'll be 2nd down and 6. Blakeman. They fake the end around to Darby, and it's Blakeman up across the 21 down to the 20, just inside the 20-yard line. Blakeman with another 4 yards. The Indians looking at a 3rd and 2. Darby comes in motion, and again Blakeman up the gut. He'll have another first down. Gets down to the 17-yard line, 3 yards on the carry. Clock will stop for a moment with 4:46 to go. Here at quarter number 2, the Indians up by 8, looking to try to extend the lead. The Indians will get the ball to start half number 2.
Play calling is dependent upon progression. You set things up in the first quarter, in the second quarter. Repetition of a fake or repetition of a dive play. It will be in the backers, defensive linemen in their minds, and it will set up the play calling in the second half when you make your adjustments.
They're coming out to measure this. Yeah, it is the first down.
Measurement indicates that's another Penn Hills first down.
Get 10 feet 20. All you got to get is 10 feet. Just got to get those yardage and move the chains. And that's what Penn Hills has done. And now
Blakeman is a single setback behind Tommy Fulton. Twins each way. Wide receiver screen high for Wilds. One man misses on the right side. Wilds dives ahead. Down to the 15-yard line. Gets 2. And the clock continues to run. Indians in no hurry. Trying to take as much time as they can to get into the end zone. To leave Canon MacMillan with as little time as possible. And Canon Mac called, and Willie Moore decided to just take off. Second touchdown of the half. Indians up 14-0. Fracco, another squibber. Picked up by a lineman, carrying it like a football. And Brian Safransky, the 6'2", 260-pound lineman, returns it back to the 28-yard line. So the Indians on that drive, 6 minutes and 13 seconds. Some ball control. Hall looking for somewhere to go. Gets by Williams, does not get by Dan Mason. picks up 3. Now there comes is that the Wilster coming on to get the tee? Yeah, there he goes.
Now watch Hall coming up here. A little juke inside out. Oh, wow. Andy Mason just trucking.
Joe's in the locker room taking care of the hydration duties. Getting the team all set, and all watered up, and all the water ready. So Willie had to come out and get the tee here late in half.
Very, very deep in this defensive formation to try to give the read what's going on in the street.
Billy goes in motion, and it'll be Matthews, Jeravin Matthews. To the 32, so he gets up about a yard on the play. And it'll be 3rd down and 6. And the clock.
I'm going to pause this, but I'm going to keep tape rolling. So you can just go.
Clock at 1:50 and running. If Canon Mac does not get the first down, I'm sure the Indians will use. They have 2 timeouts left. I'm sure they'll use one. Will Canon Mac use a timeout here? So the Indians' timeouts are now moot, unless something, unless you get a turnover here.
That boom shakalaka by somebody there. And Mike Hall just came up and got a nice first down. But here's the problem. They've got a long ways to go and not much time through the track.
Zaraski's going to throw. Look, under pressure. Gets the pass complete to Hall. He'll be short of the first. Clock will stop with a timeout. Bransky's going to throw. Looks left. Throws that way and a pass complete. Schrader breaks one tackle and gets out of bounds at the 27-yard line. Zabransky rolling that way, looking downfield towards him. Under pressure, throws the ball away, and the pass incomplete. It's intended for Schrader. Zabransky does a nice job to get rid of it, to avoid. Bransky's going to throw. Straight drop. Looking. He'll take it. He'll run it himself. We'll have a first down. We'll have a 1st and goal close to the inside the 10, or they're going to mark him at the 11. Again, Hall in the slot, which means they're going to throw. Looking towards him. Kadeem Williams unable to hold on to Zabransky. Throws one into the end zone, and it's almost intercepted, but not enough room there for Devon Taylor to come down with it. And it brings up a 2nd down. Canon Mac keeps it on the ground. Clock running. It was Dan Mason with a touchdown saving tackle. Zabransky's going to try to line him up, and is he going to spike it or run a play? Zabransky does spike it, and it'll bring up a 4th down. No, he'll still be out. Brad Strimmel. And the Indians will call timeout. And why not? 4 seconds to go. Indians have a timeout to talk it over. They wanted to see the formation. Barry Morrison. And the pass thrown short, incomplete. The half will expire. Barry Morrison with the pressure. Force Zabransky to get rid of the pass, and it comes up short, incomplete, and Canon MacMillan comes away with nothing. That'll do it for the first half of play. Second half action coming your way next. The score, Penn Hills 14, Canon MacMillan nothing. You're watching Penn Hills Indians football here on Comcast. Second half action about to get underway here at McGinley Stadium. With the score, Penn Hills 14, Canon MacMillan nothing. The Indians, Teddy Blakeman, 2 touchdowns in half number 1, a 3-yard run in quarter number 1, and a 6-yard run in quarter number 2. The Canon MacMillan Big Macs held on a 4th down play at the 5-yard line as the half expired and the Indians went in with a 14-0 lead. The Indians will get the ball to start half number 2. Teddy Blakeman with a big first half. 16 carries, 94 yards. So Canon MacMillan will tee it off to kick off for the first time tonight. We'll say thank you to Beth Strauss for the meatball hoagies here at halftime. Justin Stevens for the drinks. Kickoff high, short. Picked up by the Indians. Like Devon Taylor. Holy cow. What if that was a designed punt? But Devon Taylor caught it, dropped it, and the Indians, Devon Taylor recovers it at the 46-yard line. Back to Markham at the 47.
Now watch this thing. This wasn't just a boost. This was a pop boost. It was way up there. And Devon is sitting there knowing that the headhunters are coming.
Of course, you know, he could have called for a fair catch.
Come on, Ball, get that. Because you know you're going to get railed.
So Penn Hills is away to the stake there and is able to take over that first down. Power eye. Hits straight ahead.
Kadeem Williams up across the 40-yard line. Does a nice job to bounce ahead. Markham right at the 40-yard line. They gave another couple out to the 42. Kadeem Williams, right side across the 45. Gonna mark him right there, pickup of 3. That'll be 3rd down and 2. Indians showing a different look coming with Kadeem Williams here to start the second half. Teddy Blakeman, the workhorse in half number 1.
With all the gadgetration we saw in the first half, I think we need to start referring to him as Flash Gordon. How's that?
It was flashy, although when you look up at
The Indians up by 2 touchdowns. Would like to get some points here and eat up as much clock as they can to make it difficult for Canon MacMillan to get back into it. Blakeman, right side, looking for somewhere. Powers ahead, will be close to the first down, but I think he's going to be just short. Needed 2, I think he's going to get about 1.5. No, they will give him the 2 yards in the first down. Well, okay then.
The young man that's really headed it down. We saw from the very first play of the game how he can just get upfield. Teddy Blakeman can take that ball.
So Blakeman took the hit, bounced ahead. Was able to fall ahead enough for the first down, so say the officials. And the Indians have a first down at their own 47-yard line, starting here in half number 2. Fulton will throw, rolling to his left, throws underneath, has a man to pass complete. Blakeman in Canon MacMillan territory, goes down about the 48-yard line. Blakeman bouncing to the left, going back up the middle, has a blocker, gets inside the 40-yard line, inside the 35, and they will mark him just inside the 35-yard line. 13 yards for Teddy Blakeman, and that's a first down for the Indians. Blakeman without a huddle. Wilds and Brown to the right. I formation. It'll be Blakeman up the gut. Inside the 30 to the 28-yard line. Another couple yards for Teddy Blakeman, and the Indians with a 3rd and short. Call it 3rd and 3 for the Indians. Clock running, approaching 9 minutes to go here in quarter number 3. The Indians are up by 14. Chris Darby this time, giving Teddy Blakeman a break. Darby inside the 20, up the sideline, 10-5, touchdown Chris Darby! 28 yards and a touchdown for Chris Darby, and the Indians extend their lead.
And then outrunning everybody to the end zone. Watch right here. Chris Darby takes it a little bounce to the outside, and now it is all Darby in the
Chris Darby got past the first line of contain, and then it was a foot race, and you're not going to catch Chris Darby. Ask Woodland Hills as Darby ran one kickoff back 94 yards last week. And it was Darby up the sidelines, and the Indians tack on another 6. Fracco's kick is blocked. And the score will remain 2 minutes and 16 seconds. Chris Darby, the 28-yard run. And the Indians up 20-0. Another squib kick. Everyone's going to sit there and look at it. Finally picked up at about the 24-yard line. Matthews runs into Kenny Braswell at the 25, and that's all that he'll get. And Canon MacMillan will start there, now trailing by 20-yard lines, or 20 points. And Michael Ames comes out and gets the tee. Everybody's in the action tonight. But the Indians extending their lead and now up by 3 touchdowns, and that kind of takes big Michael Hall out of the action. But Matthews in motion, comes to the near side across the 30, the 35, and he's smacked down by Dante Brown at the 35-yard line. But not until he picks up a first down, it would appear. Needed 10, got 11, and Canon MacMillan moves the sticks. Billy in motion, it'll be Hall. Hall gets through the first line, it'll be dragging Indians across the 50 to the 48-yard line. 16 yards for Michael Hall. Matthews will come in motion. Hall again up the gut, gets a hole. Kadeem Williams gets a shoulder down. Hall not happy about not being able to break it. Gets to the 40 for 8 yards. And Canon MacMillan starting to go to the Michael Hall show, which what they should have done in the first half. Especially when they got down inside the 10-yard line. Billy in motion. Hall again. Up the middle, carries Indians for a first down. Finally dragged down at the 31-yard line after another 9 yards. Up. Matthews will come motion near side. And it'll be wrapped up and brought down from behind. Aaron Donald. And Matthews comes up talking some smack. 2 yards for Matthews. And Aaron Donald remembers that number. Aaron Donald, 6'2", 215. Matthews, 5'10", 165. If you're going to talk smack to somebody, make sure they're smaller than you. Not somebody bigger like Aaron Donald. Hall. It's wrapped up by Braswell and Blakeman at the 23-yard line. 6 yards for Hall. And it'll be 3rd and 2 for Canon MacMillan. Clock rolling under 6 minutes to go here in quarter number 3. Canon Mac going back to basics and having a nice drive here. Matthews on the end around. Looking for somewhere to go, and who knocks him out of bounds? Aaron Donald smacks him down, and Aaron Donald makes sure that he knows Matthews and who it was that knocked him out of bounds at the 16-yard line. Matthews did pick up 7 in the first down, but Aaron Donald made sure he gave him some extra smack to knock him out of bounds. Hall left side into the 10, inside the 10, down to the 7. Blakeman with the tackle. 9 yards. Hall again, inside the 5. And they're going to say he's into the end zone for a touchdown. Gets Canon Mac on the board. Canon Mac to try the point over. High snap, and the kick is up. And no good. Canon Mac goes 75 yards in 9 plays, 3 minutes and 43 seconds off the clock. Michael Hall, the 7-yard run. Canon MacMillan cuts the lead to 20-7. And it'll be Darby from the 19-yard line looking for somewhere to go. Has a lane. Chris Darby is gone. Darby, 30, 20, 10, 5. Put that in your hat, Darby. We'll run it back. 80 yards. In fact, I believe I said he took it at the 29, so. And Fracco's kick is up and good. So it takes the Indians 11 seconds to get the touchdown back, and with 4:50 to go, the Indians back up by, in fact, they extend the lead. It's now 27-6, Penn Hills. Let's take a short break. 4:50 to go, third quarter. Penn Hills 27, Canon Mac 6. You're watching Indians football, and we're already stopped. Fracco tees it up at the 40-yard line, and Fracco this time kicks the ball up. Fair catch called for at the 21-yard line. Matthews has a lane left side across the 30, gets a block, and gets across the 40-yard line, out of bounds at the 42. Kadeem Williams rides him into the Canon Mac bench. So 21 yards on the carry and a first down for Canon Mac. Ball at the 42-yard line. Hall goes into the pile. The Indians are there waiting for him. Give him 2 yards, and it'll be second down and 8. Hall, just a sophomore. Remember that. Clock running, 4:15 to go here, quarter number 3, 27-6 Penn Hills. Indians scoreless streak on the defense ends at 10 quarters. And Aaron Donald wraps up Hall at the 45-yard line. We'll give him the 46, a gain of a yard. But since Jervin Matthews got into Aaron Donald's face, Aaron Donald has just been fired up. Matthews comes in motion, will toss to him near side. Braswell drives him back to the inside, and the Indians are standing there waiting for him. Dan Mason et al. Will drop Matthews for no gain. Going back to the kickoff return by Chris Darby. Remember last week at Woodland Hills, Darby was deep. Took the ball back at his 6-yard line, ran 94 yards. The kickoff to start the second half, Canon Mac kind of punted it. It was high and short, so the Indians, it appeared, moved Darby up short into that early part of the Indians' kickoff return. Caught it about the 29-yard line and then took off from there. So the Indians adjusted well in the kickoff, put Darby right where they needed him to be, and they got 7 points out of it. Hall, left side, does a nice job to pick up about 7 yards. Dan Mason with the tackle gets down to the 34-yard line. That'll be a pickup of 6, and it'll be third down and 4 for Canon MacMillan, who trails by 21, and the clock winding down here in quarter number 3. 2:40 and ticking. The Indians move on to take on the Hempfield North Allegheny winner. Hall has a lane. Hall up the middle, 10-5, touchdown. Michael Hall, 34 yards.
I got the right charts, and I'm going to say behind Barnes handling Pizzuti, we see Mike Hall take it right up the middle. You can see shaking off tacklers like my dog shakes.
6 plays, 79 yards for Canon MacMillan in 2.5 minutes.
When they get grabbed, they just shake it. Boom, somebody flies away.
Looks like they're going to set up to go for one here. Sharnacki is in the target. The last one, 27-12 in this score. Another quick strike by this Canon Mac offense.
Max sets up for one. The kick is up, and it looks like it's through, and it is. 2:20 to go. Third quarter, Penn Hills 27, Canon MacMillan 13. You're watching Indians football here on Comcast. Again, the Canon Mac scoring drive, 6 plays, 79 yards, 2 minutes 2 minutes and 30 seconds. Mike Hall, the 34-yard run, his second touchdown of the quarter. Canon Mac now trails again by 14. It was 14-0 at the half. Each team with 13 points here in quarter number 3. And Canon Mac kicks again. Picked up at the 16-yard line. And Devon Taylor nowhere to go. We'll go down at the 19. And the Indians will start there with 2:15 to go. Now, if you're the Indians, I think you just have to start kind of thinking about some clock management here. Canon Mac, 2 straight drives marching right down the field behind Michael Hall. And you have to ask yourself, why didn't Canon Mac do that in the first half? And the leading rusher in the Wpial and Quad A this season in Michael Hall, and didn't use him all that much. Now, Tommy Fulton, seems like it's been a long time since he's been on the field. Will roll to his right. Long swings downfield, has the pass complete to Stephon Thompson. He'll have a first down for the Indians. Their third of the half. Out across the 30 to the 33-yard line. That's 14 yards on the reception. And the Indians with a fresh set will watch the clock roll under 2 minutes. Chris Perry comes in motion near side. Wide receiver screen to the right, and Brandon Eiffel drops it. Right in front of the official, rolls it an incomplete forward pass. And it'll bring up a 2nd down and 10. We'll stop the clock with 1:43 to go. Surprised the Indians have come out in the passing attack here. I think run the ball, just get into the fourth quarter with a 14-point lead. That'll be 2nd down and 10. Darby and Pryor will be split behind Fulton. And Pryor, did he lose the football? I don't think so. Pryor gets up to the 35-yard line for a pickup of 2. That'll bring up a 3rd down and 8. Fulton gives the second man. That's Chris Darby. Darby will roll ahead. We'll be close to the first down. It'll be about a yard short. Needed 8, got 7. And the Indians looking at a 4th and 1. And the clock will run, and the Indians went for it on a 4th and 1 earlier in the game, in the first half. I think if you're the Indians now, you kick. And that's what it appears it will do as Joe Strauss makes his way into the press box finally. Just a plethora of Strausses here. Fulton back, gets a low snap, picks it up nicely, kicks the ball away. Canon Mac will let it bounce and roll inside the 20-yard line and die at the 18. So Canon Mac get the ball with 12 seconds to go in the quarter. Ball at their own 18-yard line. Tommy, and wisely so. Canon Mac quickly to the line, which should be the final play of the third quarter. We'll get Hall out to the 21-yard line for 3 yards, and that'll do it for quarter number 3. After 3 periods, it's Penn Hills 27, Canon MacMillan 13. Fourth quarter action coming your way next. You're watching the WPIAL playoffs here on Comcast. Now Canon Mac will line it up to start quarter number 4 with Hall behind him. It'll be Matthews in motion, but they'll give it to Hall, who goes right into the arms of Aaron Donald, who has just been possessed of late. Hall will lose a yard back to the 20. So it'll bring up a 3rd down and 8. As I mentioned, as far as getting in other players' faces, sometimes whenever you do that, that other player wakes up and just really plays some inspired ball, and that's what Aaron Donald has been doing ever since Trevin Matthews has gotten into his face. Bransky will throw, looks near side, has a pass, completes to Schroeder, and Schrader will go down at the 25-yard line, maybe the 26. So he'll be well short of the first down, and Canon MacMillan, with 11:05 to go, I don't think that would even consider going for it on 4th and 4. No, they do have Hall. I think you got to kind of think that if you can't make it on 4 yards with the leading rusher in the WPIAL, I don't know, they will line up. I'm going to try to just draw the Indians off on a 4th and 3. They do run it. Billy comes in motion near side, has a sea of red, and he will go down short of the first down. Indians will watch the clock roll under 10 minutes to go here in the fourth quarter. They're up by 14. Chris Perry comes in motion left to right. Dante Brown near side. Brandon Eiffel left. I formation, Pryor and Darby behind Tommy Fulton, who is now playing clock management. Darby, left side. Gets a couple of yards down to the 20-yard line. I'll give him 3. And it'll be 3rd down and 3 for the Indians. But more importantly for the Indians, they're watching time tick away from Canon MacMillan's season. Indians will be in no hurry. There's an official off standing about the goal line on the far side of the field. Tommy Fulton there is on the top right of your screen. Tommy Fulton will be looking at him. When he puts his hand up in the air, there'll be 5 seconds left on the play clock, and that's when Tommy Fulton will set up and run the play. There you go. Darby again. Darby will have a first down at the 15-yard line. Needed 3, got 5. And again, Tommy Fulton will be watching that official standing at the goal line. That's the man who has the play clock, the 25-second clock, if you will. And now the Indians will just simply take their time, try to use all 25 seconds of the play clock, and wind things down here. First down, clock running at 8:35. Still watching the official. There he goes with the hand up. The Indians get set. Darby looking for somewhere to go. Follows his blockers and gets run out of bounds at the 9-yard line. Gets 6. But the clock stops with 8:24 to go. Otherwise, the Indians would have been able to run that under 8 minutes. So no need to worry about the official this time, except to get the play off because the clock is stopped and will not start until the play snaps. So the Indians can go up and start it whenever they want. Darby will come near side, and a beautiful job of a tackle in the backfield. Getting the ball in is Andrew Foster on Darby, who goes down at the 11-yard line. So that'll be a loss of about 2. And it'll be 3rd down and 6 for the Indians.
Third down. Nice play there by Pahikis coming in and making the stop. Let's go downstairs to Canonsburg. Kevin?
Now with the clock running, the Indians taking their time, and again, they're going to keep an eye on that official. Nice job of the nice shot of the Indians' offensive line on the near side. Foot will toss left. Chris Darby looking for a place to go, gets inside the 10. Wrapped up by a host of Big Macs. Sounds tasty. We'll get down to the 8-yard line, a pickup of 3. And it's 4th and a couple of yards, and the Indians will keep the offense on the field. Will not bring on the field goal unit to risk a block and return for a touchdown. So the Indians, if they don't make it here, they've knocked off about 3.5 minutes of clock. And we'll pin Canon Mac deep. And if they do get it, they'll have first to go inside the 5 or 6 points. The Indians giving Blakeman a rest as it's Darby, Mason, and Pryor in front. Darby again. They get stacked up at the line. We pick up maybe a yard to the 7. And Canon Mac will take over with 6:45 to go with the ball at their own 7-yard line. 1 turnover in the game thus far, and it's been Canon Mac and a fumble. Canon Mac certainly trying to get back in this game with 6:45 to go. They trail by 2 touchdowns. Cannot afford a turnover at this point as well. But Canon Mac, long way to go, long hill to climb. 6:45 to go, 4th quarter, 27-13 Penn Hills. You're watching the WPIAL playoffs here on Comcast.
North Hills? That would be the logical place. Yeah, right. That's pretty. It's backyard. Yeah. Of course, remember we played North Hills at North Allegheny.
Bill Navari and Coach Neil Gordon on Comcast Channel 98.
I say block.
Welcome back to McDonald's High School football here at FSN. Penn Hills leading Canon Mac 27-13. A couple of outstanding young players. Alex Pahikis was the first guy to start as a freshman last year. Michael Hall started.
Canon Mac 1st and 10 from their own 7-yard line. Trailing by 14 with 6:45 to go. Comes with Billy on an end around. Gets away from a tackle in the backfield. And Billy with a lane across the 25. Gets over the 30. Gives him some nice breathing room. A first down at the 32-yard line. 25 yards for Billy and a first down for Canon MacMillan. Almost tackled at the goal line, but he shook off a tackler. And away he went. Clock running, under 6.5 to go. Ball at the 31-yard line. Hall. And goes nowhere. Doug Smith and Aaron Donald on the tackle. Going to give him a yard to the 32. Play action. Spransky's going to throw. Looking downfield, has a man. Schroeder. And the pass way overthrown. Canon Mac looking for a pass interference call, but the pass was not catchable. He was well overthrown. And the clock will stop with 5:41 to go. Canon Mac looking at a 3rd and 8. Third down, Zabransky's going to throw. Looking. Hit as he throws, and the pass almost intercepted by Blakeman, but it falls incomplete. Kadeem Williams with the pressure, and it'll bring up a 4th down for Canon MacMillan. They'll keep the offense on the field. So now another big 4th down for Canon MacMillan, this one with 5:36 to go. They go on the double reverse, coming near side. Teddy Mathis has a lane, will have a 1st down, and hit out of bounds by DJ Wilds. Teddy Blakeman also on the tackle. Ball at the 50-yard line. They needed 8, got 17. Teddy Mathis had a big lane. Took the handoff from Michael Hall. And he went off to the races, knocked out of bounds, stopped the clock with 5:28 to go here in the 4th quarter. Big drive for Canon MacMillan. They get a touchdown here. They'll trail just by 1 score. Mathis. Bransky will be under pressure and sacked. Chris Perry comes up to make the big play, drops it for a loss of 8. Chris Perry would not be fooled on the play. And Chris Perry, beautifully done. Clock running now under 5 minutes. Bransky will throw again. Under pressure, gets away from one man. Kadeem Williams with some more pressure, and he throws the ball away. And they'll bring up a 3rd and 18. That's huge. Instead of 3rd and 18, it's 2nd down and 8. They go with the reverse again. Mathis. Kadeem Williams will spin him down for a loss of 3. Kadeem Williams with a big defensive play will drop Jervin Matthews. He was not fooled, was Kadeem Williams. And now a big 3rd and 11 for Canon MacMillan as the clock winds under 4:10 to go.
Right here, Kadeem Williams is behind the line of scrimmage, then he just shadows the runner, comes up, makes a big play, wrapping up the ball.
Telling you, if the Canon MacMillan Big Macs score on this drive, the Indians trying to make them use as much time as they can. The Indians were up 27-6 at one point, and now it's 27-13. Pass complete to Schrader. Will be short of the 1st down. About 9 yards on the reception, and it'll bring up a 4th down, and we'll call it 4. It'll be a long 3. Clock under 3.5 and running. Could be the game on this play. Toss, Matthews, right side, will have the 1st down and more. Matthews up the sideline, finally pulled out of bounds. Inside the 30, close to the 25. So Canon Mac converts again on 4th down to the 27-yard line. 16 yards for Jervin Matthews. And he gets out of bounds to stop the clock with 3:08 to go. Each team 3 timeouts left. Something different for Canon Mac. They'll give it to Brad Strimmel. Picks up about 4. It'll be 2nd down and 6, and the clock continues to tick, tick, tick. Canon MacMillan began his drive back at their own 7-yard line a little over 4 minutes ago, but they trail by 14. Toss, Billy, looking for somewhere to go. Stephon Thompson out there will wrap him up into the arms of Dan Mason and Thompson, each with a tackle. Hall dives over the 10 down to about the 9-yard line. 4 yards for Hall, and the clock will wind down to 2 minutes to go here in the 4th quarter. Canon Mac down by 14. Game not over yet, folks. Toss, Billy. Into the arms of a waiting Dan Mason and Aaron Donald, who will drop him back at the 13. A loss of 5 on the play. And Canon Mac will use one of their timeouts. 1:43 remain. And Canon Mac will use their first timeout. 1:43 to go, 4th quarter. Penn Hills 27, Canon MacMillan 13. You're watching the WPIAL playoffs on Comcast. Third and 9 with 1:43 to go. Matthews will go in motion. It'll be Hall. And the Indians are standing there waiting for him. Aaron Donald, Doug Smith, Nick Bernhardy, et al. And it'll bring up a 4th down for Canon Mac. Clock running at 1:12. 4th and 9 from the 12-yard line. Bransky's going to throw under pressure, lofts one up, and it's incomplete. The Indians will take over on downs. 1:01 to go. Indians will have it at their own 12-yard line. That should do it. Canon Mac only has 2 timeouts left. And they trail by 14. Officially the 13-yard line for the Indians. So far, I think the play here of this game has to be Chris Darby's kickoff return. Darby gets across the 15 to the 16-yard line. Canon MacMillan will use their 2nd timeout. And everybody's starting to file out of here. Canon Mac wondering how they're going to get home. The parkway's closed. So the Indians will be in action next Friday night. Take taking on presumably North Allegheny. Be a big surprise if Hempfield knocks them off. North Allegheny was winning 7-0. And a flag comes in. A personal foul against Canon MacMillan and Penn Hills. So it'll be an offsetting penalty call. So there's no play. So it remains second down here. Oh, no, it will be. Oh, is there dead ball fouls? Oh, Gordon on the far side of the field arguing with the officials about something. Fulton will take a knee. This time he's not roughed up, and the clock will wind down. So Teddy Blakeman finishes with the 116 yards and 2 touchdowns. Michael Hall, the sophomore for Canon Mac, just under 200. And he breaks the single-season rushing record for Canon MacMillan tonight. And the Indians will advance to take on, we'll assume, North Allegheny next Friday night. So your final score here, Penn Hills 27, Canon MacMillan 13. The Indians on their first possession went 80 yards in 13 plays, chewed up 455. Teddy Blakeman a 3-yard run. It was Fulton to Blakeman on a 2-point conversion. Gave the Indians an 8-0 lead after 1. Late in the second quarter, the Indians go 78 yards in 15 plays, chew up 6-13. Teddy Blakeman, his second touchdown of the night on a 6-yard run. High snap on the point after. Willie Moore took off and ran with it, was unable to get into the end zone. The conversion failed. So it was 14-0. Canon Mac drove to the 5-yard line, had a 4th down with 4 seconds to go at the Indian 5. Went for it on 4th down. The pass incomplete, killed the half. And we went into the locker room 14-0. Indians got the ball to start the second half. They go 8 plays, 53 yards. Chris Darby a 28-yard run. The point after was blocked. 20-0 Indians. Canon Mac returned, answered with a 9-play, 75-yard and 343. Got the lead to 20-6. And then Darby, his second touchdown of the half, a 71-yard kickoff return, gives the Indians a 27-6 lead. Canon Mac answers with a 79-yard, 6-play drive. Mike Hall's second touchdown of the game. After 3 periods, it was 27-13, and that's how the game would end. Once again, the Indians will be in action next Friday night at a neutral site, probably North Hills. But that'll be determined on Monday. And their opponent should be the North Allegheny Tigers. Once again, your final score here from Hopkins-McGinley Stadium at Penn Hills. The Penn Hills Indians 27, the Canon MacMillan Big Macs 13. I'm Bill Navari. We will see you again next Friday night for round 2 of the WPIAL playoffs. You're watching Indians football here on Comcast.